All right, everyone, welcome to Rhythm and Roads, Las Vegas. I'm your host, Joshua Jacob. On today's show, we have a very special guest. My next guest, he's a performer, choreographer, vocal musician, composer. Welcome, Kye Brackett of Las Vegas. Welcome, sir.
Yeah. Hello, good to be back.
Kai, I know Las Vegas has senior shows with, Barry Manilow, I take it.
Yes.
And they've heard music as well of yours, and but we want to get to know Kai Brackett. We want to get to know the foundation of Kai, when it all started, of the desire to want to sing and perform. And so, if it's okay to kind of go back in time a bit and start where it all started for you, yeah, we're gonna go in our time machine DeLorean and do.
Right.
But yeah, but you want to start there? That'd be great.
Let's see. I was a church boy. My
Okay.
uncle, who was my, father basically, he was a minister, and my grandmother was a Holy Ghost warrior. She was, they were in church every time the door opened, they were in church.
Wow.
And my uncle got this really small church, and me and his six kids ended up being the choir.
Okay.
And so I got into music, and I was really drawn to a lot of music outside of through TV, interesting, like commercials and movies and things that I would see, but that wasn't the lane that I was kind of designed to go in. But my junior high school and high school choir that was a new thing. Like, oh, let me do that. And I got introduced to so many different types of music through the school program. My high school directress was a performer, and she just really wanted me to do all the things that she saw that I wanted to do. So she helped me get involved with a performing group called the Young Americans,
Oh, okay.
which were out in California. And I auditioned for that group and made it.
Wow.
And
Okay.
so instead of going to college, about a week, 2 weeks after I graduated, I moved to California.
Oh,
And
Cal.
I started performing with them, and it was singing and dancing and all this stuff. And I auditioned for something that the group was doing, and I didn't get to do it. I was one of the ones that sat on the sideline,
Yeah.
and I was mad. I called my
Oh,
choir director, and I was like, why, they didn't pick me and everything. And she said, good. And I said, what? She said, honey, you were a big fish in a small pond here. Out there,
oh man.
there's other people that have been doing this a lot longer than you. She said, what you do is learn everything you can about what everybody's doing.
Wow.
And I
Good
took that
advice.
on. It was
Yeah.
great advice. It was really
Yeah.
great advice because there was so much to learn.
Right.
And the only thing that would kind of be weird is that, young people, they were young as well. And so it made some of them insecure having me around looking at what they were doing all the time and mimicking them, not
Yeah.
knowing I was trying to learn. They would like, he's trying to replace me. And I'm like, baby,
It's
I
just-
ain't been here long enough to do that.
yeah, you're just learning. Yeah.
Yeah. And eventually I started, and the singing part was much easier for me. The dancing, I hadn't really had much advice from, not advice, but I hadn't really had much working around choreographers or anything like that.
Oh, okay.
And experience was what I was looking for.
Wow.
And it was interesting. When I would learn something, I noticed that I would learn it better if I taught it to somebody. So while we were doing it, I would try and think of ways to make them remember how we were doing the thing.
Yeah.
And next thing I know, they were looking at me like the teacher. I was like, oh, okay. And Lou, I mean, this is over a couple of years,
Yeah.
but and then I wanted to learn to dance. So anytime I got the opportunity to dance, I could. And the director of the Young Americans actually took me to a dance class. He
Wow.
kind of picked up my choir director, left off. And then I got all these opportunities to perform, and it was creating this hunger and a work ethic, and it was kind of built on joy because
Good.
I just loved doing it. It didn't feel like work to me,
Yeah.
even though it was,
Right, right.
because singing is fun, but it has its challenges, and dancing ain't no joke. That's work.
Oh man.
I mean, I learned that quickly. It was like fun
Yeah.
to do, but it wasn't necessarily fun to learn.
Oh, I bet.
I had never been an athlete really and became one and didn't even realize that I was becoming one. I was, this weird, funny story. After I had been doing it for a while, some friends of mine asked me to go play football with them, which I always hated. but I didn't realize that I had changed a bit. So my friend like, go ahead, come on out here and play. I mean, I knew how to play football, but I didn't know how to be good at it.
Yeah.
But I didn't realize that I had changed while I wasn't looking.
Wow.
And he said, just go down there and I'm going to throw the ball to you and you catch the ball. Okay, great. So I go running because he said so, and he was my friend. And I went running down. I didn't realize that I had gotten faster running because my
That's
legs, I was
that's
always looking for my
insane.
legs.
Yeah.
And then, somebody, I'd catch the ball and then I wouldn't let them tackle me because I was like, you ain't gonna hurt me. So I was, right? And then he'd say something like,
Oh
hey,
man.
see that guy right there? When they hike the ball, you just follow him. And
Yeah.
I didn't realize that I was fast suddenly. And
Wow.
that day changed my life. I was like,
That's amazing.
wow, I'm somebody different. I still don't want to play football, but damn, I
Yeah.
could if I wanted to.
Wow. So you discovered yourself at that moment that you were
Yeah, my hand-eye
that's
coordination.
amazing.
I had
Oh my
control of my
God.
body, you know,
Yeah.
and there was strength and agility built in that I hadn't seen before. And this was always on top of singing because I was always doing that,
Yeah.
you
That's
know.
an amazing story. Thanks for sharing
Yeah,
that part.
it was a pretty funny day too, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I liked hanging out with everybody,
Yeah.
but when they decided to play football that day, I did not want to do it because I wasn't good at it. And they was and the change, the real change was when they were hiking the ball. I was on my side, and my friend was like, cover that guy right there. And I was
Yeah.
like, oh no, he said, no, get ready to go down the field, whatever. I
Yeah.
think we were hiking or something like that. Anyway, the guy on the other side said, you two cover him. And I was like, two people on me? What is that? It's like, okay.
Dang.
It was great. It was great.
Yeah.
You
That's
know?
awesome. This reminds me a little bit of the Karate Kid, right? I mean, you're learning something, wax on,
Yes.
wax off, but you don't
Yeah,
know at the moment he doesn't know why he's waxing the cars.
absolutely.
And then once you discover at the end of when you need to realize it, or he realizes it, like,
And
oh,
on instinct.
yeah, it was like, oh, I didn't know I was, doing
Able to
certain
do that.
things that were skills that were preparing me. And just like for you,
Yeah.
you're on
It
the
was
field
really
and you
great.
realize so much about yourself. You're just like, oh my God, I didn't know from the training of doing the choreography and singing and doing things that you were preparing yourself for that. It was, yeah, that's awesome, man.
It really was. And just being around people that loved it as well, but they were kind of what I call my sorority, my fraternity sorority. I was around a bunch of men and women or young people that gave me a great social life,
That's
but
awesome,
they were
man.
also giving me, because we lived and hung out together,
Mhm.
but I had this social life that was amazing with people that I trusted. They came all around from the country who were going on the same journey I was for the most part.
Wow.
And then also I was getting this really great training being around this group of people that were always pushing me. We were always learning something new. And then I started taking classes on the outside of my own with other people and growing, but I had the confidence to try it because of what I had been doing. I was in an environment around it.
Yeah.
And then I went out and did other things and everything I learned at the other thing because I started liking teaching, I
Yeah.
would bring back to the people that I was working with. So I was making them better as well.
That's
And
awesome, man. Wow.
yeah,
You're
I was
you're
getting this
sharing that.
reputation. I got a reputation that I didn't even know I was getting. As this teacher, choreographer person.
You're like, yeah, I'll go with that title. Sure.
Yeah, I
Might as
mean,
well.
what the heck?
That's
Great.
awesome. I want to also ask you is during those moments of you prepping up, you reaching your goal of where you're at, was there ever pushback where it was like, because I've always heard, and that's what my new series called Mach 1,
Hmm.
which is inspired of just pushing against the barriers, right? Pushing against fear, insecurity, doubt, what people think. It's not easy. We all go through that. And so pushing when you are at a certain point of hitting a certain goal or a certain let's say, yeah, maybe a huge, I don't know, a goal, yeah, a goal or something you're trying to aim for, and there's somewhat of a pushback sometimes that you're like, why is this happening? And then you sometimes have to break these barriers. And once you do, then you finally get there. You're like, oh my God, but there's always like a test sometimes.
You know, it's interesting because I failed at the first thing that I tried, which was that, trying out and not getting chosen. I recognized that I was going to not get a lot more things that I would get, no matter how much I tried. I wasn't
Wow.
going to get everything. So I didn't really take not getting something as a loss. I was like, oh, wait, that wasn't mine. And then I'd keep going and I'd try things. And granted, it was disappointing, but it's like if I try 100 times, one of them ought to pan out. And if one of them doesn't, I should probably stop. But I hadn't done 100 of them. So I couldn't really just stop
Wow.
after one or two disappointments and blame the system and all that.
Yeah.
And I always, because of my teacher, when I went to a situation, I was learning even while I was auditioning because I didn't know how good I was. And so I didn't expect a whole lot, but the things that I did do, um, because also while in the group, they were very supportive all the time.
That's
And
great.
they said, if nothing else, put that in the room, put support in the room. The competition is there,
Right, right.
but supporting other people got me liked by a lot of friends and people in the business. They could trust me. And that became a factor that you wouldn't expect is a big deal. But when you have your peers that trust you and see that you're a supportive and good spirited person, one of those people that I'm working with, they might have a job or somebody might get hurt and they go, oh, there was this guy I saw at the audition. The word of mouth got to be pretty good on me. And I didn't know that,
Awesome.
because they were
Awesome.
talking behind my back about it and I didn't get the job, but that didn't mean somebody didn't see me be good or at least good enough for something.
Right.
You know, and auditioned for Disney. And this was my first time really auditioning for something outside of what I knew I could get or
Wow.
felt around my age group. And I got accepted to Disney World.
You did.
Yeah,
Oh,
I got,
wow.
I prefer, it was an interesting gig. I was with the All-American College Band, and
Okay.
they had two dancers in front of them. I started out, I'm a singer, right? I'm a singer who moves, and I just went in there to do my thing. And I could kick high. I don't know why, but I could kick high and I like to lift girls. And it was going to be
Yeah.
me and it was going to be a boy to girl. And they had a round robin where five girls, five guys, and they had us perform with each girl. And I got with this one girl and we just clicked. We
Wow.
moved the same, we kicked the same, and I lifted her, and she felt very confident. We were bubbly, all the things, and we both got sent to Florida.
Wow.
And
That's so cool.
right, and then
Wow.
after we did the summer, um, a tree fell on my car, and I couldn't
Oh.
drive back home, and I was like, can't go back to school. And they had an audition for the World Dancers, a new group that was starting at this new uh, uh, place they had there called Epcot Center,
Oh, okay.
right?
Yeah.
And they were choosing this group called the World Dancers, and everybody was going to represent a different country.
Oh,
And there were
wow.
three black people that auditioned, three black men. And we were like, well, somebody's definitely going to be the African and somebody's going to be the Caribbean guy, but one of us is not going to get the job, right? And they
Right.
posted the thing, and one guy was the Caribbean, and the other guy was the African. But I knew I had made it. I just didn't know what my part was. And I was trying to figure, what would that be? And they posted the thing, and I was the American cowboy.
The American Cowboy? Oh my
That's what
God.
I did. I was like, the American cowboy, as if I wasn't American. You know what I mean? There
Yeah.
was just no, for
That's
me,
interesting.
Disney was going to be like very white-ish,
Hmm.
And somehow or the other, that did
That's
so
so
much for
cool.
me because I was kind of the
Wow.
center point in everything because they usually
Yeah.
build it around Americans, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And they put a song in which they didn't have before because I could sing. And I hadn't ever thought that I had all these qualities of being an American, like that gung-ho thing
Yeah.
and all the stuff. And somehow or the other, it was something that made me feel more black in that moment, like more American,
Yeah.
that was just, it gave me a really amazing sense of pride
That's awesome,
and
man.
joy
Yeah,
in
good
this
for you.
unexpected thing. Yeah, it was really cool.
That's
Really
amazing.
cool.
Especially for
Top
Walt
job,
Disney
though.
World, man. Like, oh, that's awesome.
And the first one, the very first
Yeah,
one,
very
they were
first.
building it around me. So I didn't even realize I was opening the door for other guys who were in my space to be escorted right in,
Wow.
Huh. So it was really cool. You just don't know. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
you don't.
I was
So
mad about my car, and then I
yeah,
got this amazing job.
that's amazing. So it's like it was like steering you in a direction from something tragic to something of living the
Yeah,
impossible of something great happening. Oh,
absolutely so. Absolutely
amazing.
so.
Awesome, man.
One never knows, do one.
Right. Well, Kai, so there's also other incredible artists you have been a part of here in Vegas. Barry Manilow. I mean, who else have you been working with?
Well, I work with more people as a choreographer,
Okay.
strangely enough, because when I was living in Los Angeles, I was working with a woman named Anita Mann who put fantasy together,
Oh, really?
right?
Okay.
And I worked with her company, so I did a lot of shows for the cruise lines, choreographing for these shows and writing them
Wow.
for them to go out. And then she would also do like the Jerry Lewis Telethon, because
Oh,
it was
wow.
filmed here
Yeah.
for a bit.
Yeah.
And we would find a town, and I got to work with Brandy. We would do the NBC fall lineup. They would do a show for all the shows that were coming out. So, John Lithgow. There's so many I can't even think of them, but because they were all just flooding in,
Yeah.
and I just got to hang out with them. I got to perform with Honey Coles at my first job, and Tommy Tune and Sandy Duncan.
Wow.
It was just pretty awesome. Met Gregory
Yeah.
Hines, and we got to work together a little bit, but just in the we got to work together in the studio because
Yeah.
he would work at her studios, and he would be in there, and I was like, oh man, I'm so happy to meet you. And he's like, you got any feet? And I was like, yeah. He said, grab your shoes. He would show me things. It was so
Oh, that's so
cool because
cool.
there's a camaraderie and a brotherhood among tap
Yeah.
dancers, brother,
Oh, there is.
sisterhood.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
if they know you know the thing, it's like if you know the language, let's speak it.
Right. Might as well.
And they don't really judge. We do a little thing, da 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 da, and on that da, you just do whatever you got, and then you
Oh,
go back and do the
wow.
thing, and then they'll do one. Trading eights and trading fours. It was a very special experience, and I got to do road shows,
Oh, you did? Okay.
different things. Like I was in Rent when
You
it
were
came.
in Rent? No
Yeah, I
way.
was in the LA
Oh,
company of Rent with Neil Patrick Harris. It
wow.
was super cool.
Oh,
Um, and that was like, we were the LA company, right?
yeah.
So we were waiting for it because everybody couldn't go to Broadway, but it was the biggest thing. And I had no idea that that was going to be a thing. The line was wrapped around the building,
Uh,
and I got walked in, and because my agent sent me, so I walked in. And I was like, okay, and they didn't even really pay attention to me, but they walked me to another room, and I sang a little bit. They went, "Thank you." I went, okay, learn not to worry about that. Walked out, and next thing I know, I get this call, like, oh, I also had auditioned for Stomp.
oh, you did?
Right. And they were like, okay, we're going to put you on the roster, whenever something opens up. So I was like, oh, great. I wanted to do Stomp, got the call to audition for Rent. Like, okay, well, let me go down there. And so I was in this hold, like this waiting thing for both of them, thinking, wow, maybe. And then Rent called, and I was like, wow. And then Stomp called right after that. And I had to choose between the two of them.
Oh,
I
man.
was like, my life sucks, but not today.
Oh, man.
It's pretty awesome. And I
Yeah, it
chose Rent
is.
because it was going to have a 12-week run in Los Angeles, and I lived there at the time. So I just stayed in Los Angeles and did Rent,
Oh,
where
wow.
all my friends could hang out and see me, and I could take the cast out and show them my CD because some of them came from other
Oh,
places.
really? Okay.
Yeah, it's really
I
cool.
actually love the movie Rent. I remember seeing it for the first time and I just loved it. I've never seen the Broadway show, which I wish I would have, but yeah, I love the movie.
That was a pivotal point in my career, talking about journeys, because that's the show that we're doing.
Yeah.
Um, It was the first time that I had the experience after the show. People went, "Oh my God, it's so fun! Oh my God, it just made me feel so good." But it was the first time that people would come up to me after the show, and they would just have a tear just right here, just brimming over because they were so moved by it,
Yeah.
and they wanted to say something they couldn't. And I'd just be like, "I know, I understand," and it was the first time that I could recognize being able to offer something to society that was profound for them that they
Wow.
could take home and grow from or grieve through or any of that stuff. And it was the first time of two profoundly that I remember where I recognized how valuable music and performances
Yeah.
are, how the arts can be. The second one was I was doing a show that Barry wrote around me and for the people that we did in Chicago. And it happened in 2001. And
Okay.
while we were performing, 9/11 happened. And we were in Chicago and they shut everything down.
Oh man.
And it was like Monday, I think it happened, or Tuesday. And they closed everything down in both New York and LA, around the country.
Yeah.
And they started opening them up on the weekends. And Barry has this song called Let Freedom Ring.
Okay.
And he told us, put that at the end of the show. Do the regular show, but put that at the end of the show. And I noticed that once we started doing the show, everything had a different kind of edge to it. Like New York City rhythm felt different. I made it through the rain, felt different. All these things
Yeah.
that were just kind of Barry Manilow songs suddenly took on a different edge. And then doing Let Freedom Ring was awesome
Oh, I bet.
because it wasn't about rah rah America and kill the other people. It was
Right.
really like let freedom ring, let
Yeah.
this sound resound throughout the nation. It was a celebration. And I just noticed how people, it was the first time that I ever recognized that generally people have different problems when they come to a theater or come to a show. But this was the first time that everybody had the same problem.
Wow.
That's why it had such an impact.
Yeah.
And because everybody would realize at the same time, wow, let freedom ring, or
Yeah.
I made it through the rain, let's hang on. And it started making me feel like maybe there's more to do than just make it about me. Socially, there's something I could create as well. Can I use music to create change or support or inspiration socially? And I was kind of off on a new thing now.
Man, yeah, I know that's true. Around that time, everyone was kind of going through, well, not was, we all were going through it together. So
And we
that song
wanted to
really,
be together.
we wanted to be, yeah, support and be there. And man, I
Mhm.
was only like, I think 13 at the time when that happened in 2001.
Mhm.
But yeah, that changed America big time. I mean, the world too, just to see what happened.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Suddenly feeling nervous in your own country. We didn't know
Right, exactly.
that. They can come over here, whoever they are.
Yeah,
There's a lot of days out there,
right.
I
Like
just
this
have,
happened here in the US? Like what?
right. We
Yeah,
had no clue. And that was really sobering.
yeah,
But I got to be in a space where there was inspiration. I was like at the source of a form of inspiration. And that wasn't nothing. you know,
yeah,
it really was something needed. People left there feeling at least supported in some way or heard, or sometimes it's just good to get that cry out. You know what I mean?
yeah. We all, yeah, that's true. At times it's okay to just let it out, you know. We have so much build up from past traumas, certain situations, experiences, especially here in the US, that yeah, it's just life itself for our own world, right? Our lives and
Yeah.
families and work that gets caught up with everything else. So yeah, it's okay to have that moment. Just release it in your car alone somewhere. Just let it out. Let
And
people.
and creating a safe space where you don't have to be alone when you have that moment.
Right.
There's something about that. Church is one of them,
Yeah.
but I wasn't a minister, and I didn't have that kind of power in church. But on stage, when I'm on stage, I've been fortunate enough to just be inspiring because those are the kinds of shows I was lucky enough to do.
No, yeah. Yeah, and I'm a man of faith as well, and thankfully prayer has gotten me through just life, just getting through it, and it's like that song from Bon Jovi, "Living on a Prayer."
Yeah, for sure.
That's a lot of me. That's definitely me, and I know a lot of other close friends. So
Yeah.
yeah, but well, thank you. I want to say Kai, for just sharing that chapter of your life as well. And so cool you were part of the Walt Disney World, just on that dance team on that, and plus the Rent. Like, I love the movie Rent. I wish I would have
Oh,
seen it
yeah.
on Broadway. That's a different
It was,
experience. Yeah.
oh my God. It
Oh,
was 2 years ago because it was like seven friends, I think, and watching them try to go through life that was becoming very difficult, and all they had was each other. And interestingly enough, I knew that everybody thought it was about rent, just rent. Well, I don't want to pay rent, that kind of thing. So some people
no,
missed what they were talking about. And the director on the first day of rehearsal was like, you know, rent is not about rent. The song sounds like that, but
right.
rent apparently, one of the meanings is to have something taken away from you. And it's like they didn't want to pay that. They didn't want to pay that price of losing something
Wow.
because you were losing your friends, you were losing your home, you were losing your partner, all of those things. And it just changed the whole lens through which we were performing the show. So songs like Seasons of Love was such a powerful, it opened the second act. And it was such a powerful song because you knew about an hour and a half of these characters' experience and their journey. And then the second act, everybody just came out and stood on the front and curled their toes over the edge of that stage and just sang at the audience, just straight out with this beautiful song about, how do you measure a life?
Yeah, that's a great song, Seasons of Love. I
Absolutely.
love that song.
And
Yeah.
that's an interesting thing because when the show ended, I had not a bit of a breakdown. When I ended the show, I just felt a little bit of what is my life worth? I'm not married. I haven't made, $1 million yet. I haven't done all the things. And then I remembered the first day of rehearsal and him saying, this song, is the center point of the show. How do you measure a life? And we proposed this question. How do you measure a year in the life? How do you measure a year? How do you measure your
Wow.
life? And I sat there as I was leaving and I was looking at the cast because they were giving me a goodbye present. And I went to that moment of like, what is my life worth? It wasn't like cut risk kind of time, but I was just sort of wondering
Yeah.
what's happening. And then I remember he said, and the answer was measure in love, measure your life in love. And when I had that epiphany, I had it in front of them and I was looking at them and I realized how much they loved me. I could see my relationship with each one of those people. And I suddenly got it. Like I was measuring my life by the wrong marker.
Mm.
I was measuring it
Wow.
by what other people had and what people married and had kids and did all that. But if I looked at the love that was in my life, I was a rich man. And that recognizing that measurement of life
That's
just changed
amazing.
everything. And
Wow.
if we could offer that to people, that does not suck.
Yeah. No, wow. Well said on that. That's so true. Because I think even I'm speaking for myself, we all go through moments of sometimes comparison. Sometimes you look at what you don't have.
Absolutely.
And the thing is, yeah, if we small focus on the small little things in life, even just the moments of we look around and see what we are truly blessed, even to even have what we have on our bodies to be able to function, to
Yeah,
see, I mean, there's people that are blind and there are people that are without limbs. And
all
here
of that.
we're blessed to just have that to do what we can do, and
To
uh,
even have the thought. It's like,
yeah,
well, wait a minute. I actually have the faculty, the clarity of mind to think. That's a big deal.
that is a big deal. Yeah, to
Some
think.
people don't have that.
Yeah,
People
just to
lose that. You know,
yeah, I agree, man. That's wow, that's powerful. Just to even have the mind to think and act and be able to decide is just a blessing, to even get up in the morning, open our eyes and be here.
yeah,
People die every day. There's around the world, there's someone leaving this earth and being born.
yes,
The circle of life.
all of that. And
Yeah.
and
So
to, I felt very blessed that I have been around inspiring acts, I'll say, shows that do that. And running into Barry with all these songs that have inspired people for generations. I've
Yeah.
been with him for like 20 some years now.
Wow,
And
that long.
oh
Congratulations.
yeah, we came here in 2004, maybe something like
Wow.
that. And we were supposed to be here for 6 months. And we've been here for years.
Wow.
And
That's amazing.
seeing how he inspires people, how his music inspires people, I should say.
Yeah.
And they come back over and over because they know they can just plug into that inspiring spirit and how many people around them that are appreciating it. And I love watching new people come see his shows because they don't expect what they see.
Yeah.
They expect it's going to be old people music and, whatever somebody's standing at, it's the whole thing. And then him trusting me to stage numbers for him. And, he calls me like, so what should I do here? Should I go there? Because he trusts this, that I'm a singer who can dance and I have facility with staging and movement. So he made me the staging director for
That's
the
awesome.
show. So
Wow.
I got to work with him. I'm next to him whenever he needs something. I make him feel safe with movement,
That's awesome.
because I know what he can do and what he can't do, and I know what he's trying to do.
Yeah.
So it's been a great job of service.
Oh, I bet. Yeah. Well, that's incredible, Kai.
Yeah.
Well, thank you again for sharing your incredible story and testimony and the journey. I'm truly blessed by today's message from you.
Oh,
Just the
it
advice,
goes on.
yeah, even the advice that you've given too, really speaks volume.
Thank you.
But there is a show coming up with Carl John.
Yeah.
What is it? Art of
The art becoming.
Becoming. Yes, thank you.
Mhm.
Art Becoming. So
Yeah.
that's coming up in June. I think what,
Next
June
week, a week from
3rd?
today.
Yeah, June 2nd, I believe. June 2nd.
Yes. Is next week June 2nd?
That's right, next Tuesday. Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah.
So yeah, so you're the special guest there, the Art
Yep. I was
Becoming.
the
Yeah,
first one. And
that's awesome.
we became friends pretty quick here when he used to own the Vox Lounge. And I loved the food there. And I decided to throw a New Year's Eve, not New Year's, but I was dedicating my home when I first moved here.
Yeah.
And I invited a bunch of friends from around the country to come help me dedicate my home. And I was trying to, I thought, what are fun things to do? Well, let's go to that Vox Lounge thing for the first night, because it was close to the airport. So people came in and we had this, they were we were the biggest group in the room. So I told my friends, we're the biggest group, so be welcoming to other people because they don't know what that thing is, want to make people feel cool and all that. And while we were there, the owner sent us a huge, those big bottles of champagne.
Wow. Okay.
And I was like, wow, that's really cool. And Carl John walked up and I didn't know who he was. And I said, so how do we know you? And he said, well, I own the place. I'm like, oh, you said the bottle of champagne, thanks. And he was like, you're welcome. And we struck up a conversation and we just became friends.
Wow.
And so I created a thing called Love Sexy at his club because I asked him, why did you build this place? He said, I wanted to build it to be community and for people to experience a relaxed environment and be inspired and all these things. And I was like, I want to help you with that.
Yeah.
And so his chef and I came up with the idea of Love Sexy, where it was making up music because we have all these musicians who are very good at writing music and playing music and all of that. But we sometimes forget that we can just make stuff up
Right in the
that's
moment. Yeah.
really interesting. And so it was a whole night of improvisation.
Wow.
But everything you create had to go through the lens of love or sexiness. We love sexy. I didn't want any growly things. I didn't want anything that would
Yeah.
cut people off from something, some experience. It had to be an inclusive experience. And it was awesome. People would come in
Wow.
and we just make things up. And I got to host it. And sometimes it would just be dancing, people on the dance floor, and dancers would come in and I would dance with them, but they thought it was like boogie. And I was like, no, 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 I don't mean that kind of dance. I
Yeah.
mean, it's dance, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it was like back in the day when we had a show on, what was that called? Oh my gosh. It was a bunch of kids dancing at a school. I can't remember, it's Fame. And
Oh,
the kids were dancing in the cafeteria and
yeah.
everything. That was something I wanted to make it like if they were dancers, you
Yeah.
know, bring what you make and make some music. The kids from Stomp would come in and do their thing. And that was a really nice contribution to the city that I was coming to, and I was doing Manilow, but I also wanted to do things that I wanted to do. as well. And that was one of them. And at that time too, it was where I was really looking at writing music. Like, wonder what comes out of me. What kind of things would I write? And noticing the types of music that would show up for me. And if I wanted to do one there, I'd just make that up as long as it fit into that category, which generally do because that's the kind of guy I am.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. And that's true. Even I never I know he was sharing the art of becoming and just kind of how it's supposed to be and or how it's
Hmm.
going to go. But yeah, I mean just being in the moment like that to see the evolvement of like moving, well, starting with the first day and then the month later you're going to see the how it evolves.
Yeah.
That's going to be interesting for those
Yeah, he's,
early parts.
I mean, he was at the very beginning of his journey as
Yeah.
an artist when I met him. He was a businessman.
Right.
And um, we ended up living together for a while. We going through marital thing, and he needed a place to stay. And I was like, hey, I got this extra room. And he was learning guitar. And
Oh,
so I
cool.
was doing my thing, and he was walking through the house, always playing the guitar and doing his thing. And it was really beautiful, and we ended up becoming great friends. And we've been friends ever since then. So this is really special for he and
That
I
is.
because it'll be our first time performing together.
Well,
And
that's cool.
that's
That's
pretty cool,
yeah, yeah.
and using our stories because we talked about this kind of stuff forever. We always talked about being an artist and challenges and inspiring each other and all of that. And he's a go-getter, and so when he decided to put this on, I was like, I'm in.
That's awesome. That's cool. Yeah, for those that want to go and support the show, what's the website? I believe it's on
Look at it myself because I love it, but I
Art of
forget it because
Becoming,
art becoming.
Art Becoming
Yes, I feel terrible that I don't have it handy. But it is going to be next Tuesday night
next
at
Tuesday night.
this,
Okay.
and there'll be two shows.
Okay.
It's $25. Help the brothers out. And it's really us talking about our journeys punctuated by the music that we've created,
Yeah.
which will be really great. Let me look that up.
And what are your links for your Instagram and for the viewers to follow you?
The Kye Brackett is
Okay.
my Instagram. Um, all one word, TheKyeBrackett.
All right.
Mm.
Well, I'll get that information to put on there as well for the information for the show, Art
Oh,
Becoming.
you have to get it through the space.
Through the space. Okay.
Yeah,
Through the
the
space.
space LV.com.
Okay. Very
So
well.
to
Well,
that.
Kai, it's been such a blessing to have you on the show and to hear your testimony and your story. And it definitely inspired me. And I want to say for the viewers, if they like to come on the show and share your story, my Instagram is Joshua Jacob Official. I believe every story can impact someone's life out there that they're either starting a dream, resurrecting a dream, or on the edge of giving up on one. And so one story can impact someone's life to either keep going or just get that spark. And we are the voice, you're the light and a beacon of hope for those other artists and those out there pursuing that dream. So,
Sure.
hi.
I want to make one correction.
Oh yeah,
It actually calling art becoming,
art
art,
becoming.
not the art of becoming, but art becoming the music, the message, the muse.
Yeah, art becoming. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, guys, it's gonna be a great one. Please go and support Carl
Please.
John and Kai Brackett for that art becoming on
Yeah.
June 2nd at the Space, right? Space
7 o'clock.
LV. Yeah.
Yep. So see you then.
All right. Well, guys, this is Joshua Jacob with Rhythm and Roads, Las Vegas. Thank you for watching. Thank you so much, Kai Brackett. Such a
Absolutely.
blessing to have you on the show. Appreciate you. And
Thank you.
we'll catch you guys on the next episode. Thank you for watching.